Hi there. Sage delivered her litter on Saturday, the 28th of October. It was a long labor for her because she delivered 11 puppies. Sage came from a litter of 11. She was one of the puppies in that litter, and now she's had a litter of 11. So we told her she got one just like herself. Now she's going to know what she put her mama through. But she's doing great. She was a trooper during the delivery, did wonderful, and now she's being a great mom. She has 6 boys and 5 girls, and now it's Monday, the 30th, and so these pups are a couple days old, and we're going to show them to you. We'll start with light purple here. I've got her. She was the smallest puppy of the litter, so she's a cute little one. She's doing great. And she is a solid puppy at this point. Markings can show up as they grow, but usually by a couple days old, you're seeing most of the markings they're going to have. And she is solid. She doesn't have anything on her chest or on her toes. This one foot, I don't think it's a marking. The fur is pretty thin around the ends of their toes, but we'll have to watch this back right paw and see if it gets any white on it or not. I don't think it's going to be a marking, but time will tell. She is doing great. Now we have the dark purple puppy for you. This litter has so many puppies. We had to use 2 purples, so we have a light purple and a dark purple. Here is our dark purple girl now, and she is a cutie as well. She, however, does have markings, unlike the light purple puppy. So let me show those to you. If we roll her over, you can see she has a pretty good, what I would call a banner. Right here, it's kind of a long, skinny marking right there on her chest. You can see that it's very clearly showing up. So this is a kind of marking that will, for sure stay with her throughout her life. That's something that she'll have. So there is her marking, and she has another unique feature in that sadly this little girl had what we would call a whelping accident. It's something that happens in dog breeding, and we're aware of it, and we've tried and always been successful at avoiding it. I don't know if the contraction with her was more painful or what, but as she was being born, Sage kind of got overly excited and started trying to chew and clean things before the puppy was even all the way out. Usually as mom's chewing the umbilical cord and cleaning off the sac, I will get a hold of the puppy and I will hold them like this so that tail and legs are out of the way. And then as mama gets closer and closer to their belly, I'll reach forward and put my fingers in the way of the umbilical cord so they can't chew too short. And that helps protect the puppy. But like I said, Sage got a little overly excited and she was chewing at things before the puppy was all the way out. And we weren't able to avoid an accident with this one, even though we tried. Sage got off a toe on this little girl in her cleaning, getting overly excited. Took off the outside toe on this back left foot. So she's going to be a 3-toed puppy on this back left foot. We've talked to our vet about it. He doesn't seem overly concerned. They're headed in a couple days to get their tails and dew claws done, and he'll look at it then. But he really feels like, she's not going to know life with 4 toes on that foot, and she'll learn to walk and run and do everything else other dogs do, and just do it with 3 toes. So anyway, we'll get an update on that for sure after the vet actually takes a look at it. But like I say, we've talked to them about it, and they'll check that out on Wednesday. There's our dark purple girl. Okay, here we have a teal puppy to show to you. Another cute, darling little puppy. They're so cute and tiny at this young of an age. She has a fun marking. Let me show you hers. Her marking looks like a number 7 right there on her chest. So that's kind of fun if any of you have a favorite number of 7. And she's got 4 toes in the back, 2 on each foot back here, that have a little bit of white at the tips of her toes right around the toenails. So she's got those fun markings that make her unique. Okay, here we have the pink puppy to show to you. She's gonna go to sleep for us. She was wiggling just a second ago. All of these puppies have a real deep color to their coat, very dark, beautiful, beautiful color. They get more red as they get older. They start out a little more brown, but these guys already have quite a bit of red to them, and with how dark they are, they're going to be just gorgeous. Let me show you her marking. She has a marking right over here, kind of off to the right of center. It's not quite as long as dark purples. That was more of a banner. This one's almost kind of more of a, it's a little bit banner, but it's, you know, more of almost a badge. It's shorter. Anyway, right there on the right. And then back here on her toes. Again, she's got markings on both back paws there. So they're just so tiny and cute, and she's a sweetie. Okay, here we have the last of the little girls. Here is our yellow puppy. They're all going to sleep on me while I hold them. She's doing great, of course. They're all just so cute. We can't tell a lot about personality yet. We'll see that as they get a little bit bigger and it starts to come through. But right now we'll show kind of some of their physical traits to you. She has a marking as well. Hers is a very thin line in the center of her chest. Just a very thin marking. She's gonna try and eat my finger. Are you hungry? Right there in the center of her chest, but it is certainly there. And then she's got, looks like white just on the back right foot. And then she's got some white there. They're so darn cute and so tiny at this point, but they're all growing really well. We weigh them and make sure and watch with big litters, especially like this, that no one's falling behind. If there's anyone that's not keeping up in their weight gain, then we step in and make sure they're like the first to eat, or if we put them on one of the nipples that produces more milk, those kinds of things, that we step in and make sure everyone gets their fair share. But Sage is being a wonderful mother. She's feeding her litter very well. And even though they're still tiny because they're so young, they are getting round little tummies here on the sides of their body. When they're born, they're quite a bit skinnier before they've eaten. Mama's milk's coming now, and you can see that they're getting nice little round tummies. And they're healthy and growing and doing great. All right, we're gonna move on to our boys. Here we have the gray puppy. Again, of course, he's a doll. And he is a solid puppy. So if we roll him over, you're gonna see there's not markings on his chest or on his paws. You can see that his umbilical stump is freshly come off there on his tummy. Belly button, basically, his belly button is freshly come off. But he is looking like a solid puppy. I don't know if you can see that yawn. Oh, that was cute. Anyway, there is our gray puppy. All right, here is Mr. Brown. That sound you just heard turn on is the heater in here, so hopefully you can hear me over it. Here is Mr. Brown. He is on the bigger end for the litter. He's one of the little bit bigger puppies. He's sticking his tongue out at you. Oh, I'm so tired. So tired. And we'll just show you right here on his chest. I don't know, this is one that is faint enough. It may stay into adulthood or it may fade. They have a calic right here on their chest, and just right under that calic is a teensy little marking for him. So I'm not sure if that will stay or if that will fade. We will have to look and see as he gets older. And he's got solid paws. Again, he's one of the bigger boys. All right, here is our orange boy. He's sticking his tongue out at you. We're going to show his markings to you. So if we roll him over, you will see right here on his chest, he has a line down each side of his chest. He's got the double marking there. And his paws are solid, but he does have the faintest teeny tiny, if you'll hold still, white mark right there in the middle of his forehead. Now that is something that's so small and faint, it's one that could possibly fade as he grows, or it could possibly stay. Again, it's one of those watch and see kind of markings. That marking is, however, outside of breed standard. Now that's just a cosmetic thing. You know, if you were going to do Conformation Show, which is the show where they're basically judging dogs off their looks, he would be excluded from that for that marking. Again, it's just a cosmetic thing. If you don't plan to show or breed, then it's not a big deal at all. But because of that marking being outside of breed standard, we will only offer limited registration on Orange. You know, the other puppies you can choose whether you want limited or full. But if a puppy is showing things that are outside of breed standard, then in an effort to, you know, just try and keep the breed within the breed standard, we only offer limited registration on those puppies so that the breeding won't be passing that on. So anyway, it's actually quite adorable and quite unique, and it's coming through. You'll occasionally see dogs, Vizslas. This is really kind of, we don't see it hardly at all in ours, but we've seen it in other people's as well, and occasionally, like this little guy in ours, that you get a marking that's outside of breed standard. Some of the dogs that were used to bring the Vizsla breed back after it almost became extinct during the World Wars, you know, they're Hungarian, they almost became extinct. It was pretty much one guy that got his dogs out and kind of, you know, rescued and saved the breed, but by then the gene pool's so small that they're having to bring in other similar breeds to build it back up. When they did so, that's when the Vizslas got darker coats, and some of the breeds they used had white markings. So that's why you'll quite frequently see the markings on the chest or the paws, and those are within breed standard. But occasionally, because of the breeds that were used, you'll also see, like we've seen another breeder that had one that had, and completely unrelated lines to ours, but had a whole stripe up the center of the forehead. Just, you know, the dogs they were using to breed didn't have it. It's just something that occasionally comes out. Look at that tongue. Just look at it. Anyway, he's cute. He's adorable. He'll be a wonderful companion or runner or hunter or, you know, whatever you're wanting to use that way. But we're going to do limited registration on this guy. So he won't be a show dog and he won't be a breeder, but he is a sweetheart. All right, here is our red boy. We usually try and avoid similar colored ribbons because we know in the photography they can be tricky to tell apart depending on the lighting. But with such a big litter, we had to use lots of colors. So hopefully it won't be too hard in the pictures and videos to tell pink, orange, and red apart. But there may be some instances where you might have to look close and we might have to help clarify. Anyway, here is the little red boy. And he has a chest marking. He doesn't have the paws, but he does. Let me see if I can get him to hold still. He does. They're so hard to hold on to when they're tiny. Have this center chest badge. So his is kind of the badge shape. It almost looks like a star. He's gonna spill for us. He sounds more like a cat than a dog when they're tiny. His is almost star shaped and right there in the center. So that is his marking that makes him unique. All right, here we have our blue boy. And again, hopefully in photography we can differentiate between teal and blue. Hopefully they won't look too much alike. Here he is again, sticking his tongue out at you. It's their favorite thing. Oh, one of them sneezing, oh bless you. One of their favorite things to do is stick their tongues out apparently. Blue is a solid puppy. So he does not have chest markings, he does not have toe markings, just a belly button. That's all we got on there for him. So he is a solid pup. All right, and last but not least is our green puppy. He was the caboose of the litter. There was a long gap between number 10 and number 11. Sticking his tongue out, I tell you, it's their favorite thing. Those sassy little puppies. Who's sassy? Mama had to work hard on this one, but she did good. did wonderful, and he came out just as healthy as all the rest of them, despite his longer stay in labor. Anyway, he's doing great. He gets to share color with Mama. Sage has a green collar. She worked the hardest for this boy, so he got the green ribbon to match his Mama. And he is a very lightly marked puppy. So if we roll him over, he's right here on the calyx, kind of like the other puppy. His is a little bit bigger, but just that little tiny marking right in the center, right there on the calyx. He also is probably, it's really faint, so it's hard to know for sure, but he's probably going to have a couple of toes on the back left foot that have a little bit of, they won't be what you would call a solid white marking. You know, like some of these puppies have had really obvious drastic chest markings and they've got a sharp border. Sometimes you'll get what I call more of a highlight or a frosting, and it doesn't have a distinct border. It's not solid white, but you know, it's definitely lighter. And if he gets markings on that back left foot, I think they'll be more the highlight rather than the solid white marking. And then the little teeny tiny bow tie or something right there on the calyx. He's great, sleeping away and doing wonderful. We're so happy with this litter. We've got a lot of markings in this litter, a lot more than most of our litters usually have, but you know, we actually have a lot of people that love the markings. Lots of times the marked puppies are the first to go. I think people like the individuality that it brings to a litter that tends to look a lot alike. But we do have a few solid ones in here too, if that happens to be your preference. But we're just really, really happy with this litter. They've got the gorgeous dark color to their coat. They're just going to be really, really pretty. He's twitching like that in his sleep. That's not anything to be concerned about. It's actually a good sign. Puppies are supposed to twitch in their sleep like that. If they don't, it means they're not well. So anyway, that's what that twitching is. But they've got the wonderful deep coat that's going to be just gorgeous. Mom and Dad are both beautiful dogs, excellent temperaments. Both come from hunting lines, both Mom and Dad. So they, you know, these pups should be able to be trained to be able to be some really good hunters because they come from some hunting lines there. And we're just really, really excited. It'll be fun to watch them grow and develop, and especially when they get to be a few weeks older, eyes open, start running around, bundles of energy, times 11, and life gets pretty exciting. We've had a litter of 11 before, like I mentioned, and life gets pretty exciting. So give us a week or two and there won't be a dull moment around here. We'll keep you posted as they grow and develop, and we'll be able to fill you in a little more as far as personality, temperament. If there's something real specific like hunt or, you know, something else like that that you want to get a job for your Vizsla to do, and there's something specific you're looking for, we can, you know, start to discover and coach you on some personality, temperament types of things as they get a little bigger. But this video was mostly just to let you know they're here. We're excited about them and give you a little introduction to their physical traits and their appearances, and